Yeah, Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9 hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep, go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. About to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What it is, what it do, what it ain't, and what it is be. Hey, you looking at this dynamic duo. That is myself, Wildcard Mar, and of course, Randy Weber. And I know, your days of the week are not messed up. Normally, we get it cracking on a Taco Tuesday, but my man, my brother, he messaged me and be like, yo, tonight might actually be better than tomorrow. So, hey, I'm a flexible guy. And here we are. We're taking Taco Tuesday's madness, and we're just turning it into Monday night. So, Randy, how you doing, bro?
Doing good. I know what's coming first, and I'm I'm mentally shadowboxing, getting ready for it. But I'm feeling good throughout the week. I'm feeling good. A little aggressive, ready to pounce. We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, look, I'm just going to fair warn y'all. Or no, we are not. We're gonna talk a lot of topics tonight. All right, but it is going to be basketball heavy. And I know what you're going to say. Basketball's over. Yes, it is. But look, just roll with us, because trust me when I say you're going to love what the hell is about to happen. So I'm just going to play this clip for Brody. All right. Because this is this is unseen footage so far. All right. Unseen footage. This isn't something that is out there right now. But we're going to have this conversation now is because ladies and gentlemen, this literally, like I said, there's a conversation of basketball amongst me, Randy, Boney Homie. Y'all know Boney Homie, Inward Podcast. So this is almost a cross promotional little situation going on here at I.O.W. But I got to play this for Randy because I happened to get Bones in a recording space. So I had to instigate a little bit, do what I do best, instigate some shit. And, well, I'm just going to play it. And here we go. A throwback Lakers number 8 Kobe jersey on. As you can see, the fadedness, but you can tell how down I've been with Kobe for a long time. All right, so a lot of people, lately, hey, is it weird, bro? It's been a lot of Kobe in there lately. I don't know what's going on. What the hell's going on?
Kobe, the only motherfucker who ever died and lost rep. Literally everybody else get a death boost. Kobe got a death recession.
Like, he was so great when he's alive. When he died, we got to talk shit about him.
And it's because the shit that I keep saying, motherfuckers get to the point where they just stop caring about what actually happened and just go by what can we look at on paper.
And what actually happened. Oh.
What can we look at on paper if at all?
Oh.
Isaiah Thomas, the debate for those who don't know is mainly that Randy Weber, who's on his late night show, I.O.W. Late, is it called?
Yeah.
So He's on there talking about how Steph Curry is above Kobe, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is all based off of statistical numbers that he's looking at on a piece of paper that tells him that Steph Curry is more efficient, a better scorer. He said this too. He's gonna try to take it back because he already took it back once. He said Steph Curry is a better scorer around the rim, mid-range, and from three because he's more efficient.
Well, to be fair,
ignoring.
He can't take it back, Boney, is because it's recorded. Me and him had this conversation live. Now, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some things you're going to say that I might have said. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, just because both me and Boney Homie are Lakers fans, aka Kobe fans, this is not us on the same page. This is just us. All right, I've always kept it real about Kobe. All right,
that's right. I've hated Kobe in moments.
I did too. I didn't like the snitching on Shaq shit.
I wanted him traded at one point. You want to leave? Fuck it, kick your ass over there then.
I didn't like this snitching on Shaq shit.
And I ain't like the game where he stopped shooting.
Yeah, but I understood why he did it.
I didn't. I'm not cool with that. That's a whole different topic that's gonna keep us here all the fucking day because we'll go all day on that.
Yeah, we could. We really could. Go ahead.
Now, when you look at things in context of greatness, we're not looking at just we're looking at Steph Curry with the greatest team, arguably ever. Arguably, it's an argument between three teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the Lakers. Fine. Yep. One time. You know what I mean? Like, not like Steph's greatness is within the entire time when he had this dynasty.
Yes.
Only.
Yes.
So of course he's got all of course he can get off all these shots. Of course. Like, yeah, he's double teamed. He's the primary scorer, but also like you can only double so hard with Klay Thompson the fuck over there shooting threes without dribbling and shit. Yeah. You can only double team so hard when fucking Kevin Garnett is over there shooting threes and shit. And you can only double team so fucking hard.
Well, we know
Kobe is the difference. You can double the shit out of Kobe. You can say Shaq. First off, that's just the first 3 years of dominance, which is Kobe carried Shaq a lot of times too. If you really looked at all of the playoffs. But that it would take me so long to get into so many different things. I want to stick to this one thing. This one big thing that I wrote down. So Kobe Bryant is the only player in playoff history to have 30 points while shooting 50, 40, 90.
Ooh. In
back-to-back conference finals.
I know. I saw that. That is kind of
like you want to talk about efficiency. Why hasn't Steph did that?
Yeah.
Why hasn't Steph did that? I looked at Steph. Steph got 3 50-point games.
Kobe got like
3. Kobe got that in a month.
He did.
Hey, wait. And the thing that recurred 2000
was that 08 or 09? He went on a crazy month.
He had multiple times he did this, but I'm talking about one specific month. This is 06, the month I'm talking about, where he went 60, 66, like it was like 60, 60, 50, 81 or something like that.
It was crazy.
Point being, though, I lost the thread a little bit. Point being, though, is that Steph Curry, you want to focus on the fact that Kobe shot more shots than Steph, but why didn't Steph shoot? Because Steph didn't fucking have to. You lose the fucking context when you just go by these fucking numbers. Steph didn't have to shoot. Steph didn't have to score 50 points to win the game. Kobe had to score 81 to win the game. You look at those numbers, you can't see the fact that they were literally trailing if you only looking at stats. No, Steph didn't have to score 60 points. So when you are that good at shooting and you don't have to shoot, of course your shit gonna look efficient. Of course, you don't have to shoot. You don't have to be that guy. And when we seen Steph have to be that fucking guy, was it 2 years ago? The Golden State Warriors were fucking terrible. When it was all on Steph, when we was counting on Steph, when Steph had to put up 30 shots, fucking terrible. Ooh. I'm sure that Red's gonna come back and tell me he shot 27 times and this happened and that happened, but he still lost the play-in game. The problem with this new generation, and even though this nigga's older, he act like he wasn't there. The problem with them is that they don't remember the actual game. There's a reason why when you say some shit like Kobe's not in the top 10, the motherfuckers who played were like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Like crazy.
Because they actually see the game, not the fucking numbers.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Not. Oh! You dropping mic right there? He says smoke. Well, that'll be released later this week, along with some other stuff on the Inward Podcast. This is episode 4. But I'm gonna step the hell out the way and rebuttal. What you got to rebuttal to the rebuttal, man?
Oh man. Oh, I got so much to rebut. Okay. I got so much to rebut. So first of all, Steph did not have 3 50-plus point games. He had 15. So I would like my man's bones to go back and look at that. Second of all, if we're talking about needing to be double teamed, he he tried to tie Shaq in, and then he just forgot about it. If you want to talk about teams not being able to double team you because they have to worry about someone else, yes, Steph had great teams a lot of the time. Kobe was part of the best duo maybe ever, and he wasn't the number one in that duo. Again, for 3 out of his 5 rings and for a significant part of his most successful years. So you want to talk about needing to be double teamed? Well, when you have a guy who's the size of an F-150 come in,
150 is wild.
about to run at the basket, yeah, you're probably gonna have to. You can't just leave some bum ass center on him. Like, you're gonna need to double team him. Shaq was double teamed like crazy. So that opened up tons of opportunities for Kobe, and even despite the fact that Shaq was opening up those opportunities for Kobe, he was still shooting like low 40s, sometimes in the 30 percentile, with Shaq on the court, with less pressure on himself, with less double teams on himself. Steph almost never shot like that. So that's, first of all, if we're talking about the help that we have around him, well, Kobe had the greatest coach of all time and the most dominant big man of modern basketball history. You can debate like all time. Like,
yeah. No. You can have that conversation all the time. Like, again, I wasn't around for Wilt. I wasn't around for Bill, but for my money, I saw a guy named Shaquille O'Neal that was just crazy good and dominant. Just physically, you just couldn't match up with him.
Right, exactly. He was a mismatch for everybody, and you had him on your team, leading the team in points, getting you like 3 Finals MVPs with you on the team. So we can talk about all that. Now, as far as when Steph had to carry the team, Steph was clearly the best player for their first ring. I know Iguodala won the Finals MVP, but that was largely because, he was defending LeBron, and they wanted to give LeBron credit. It was bogus. And I'm sure Bones would agree with that. I know Bones would agree with that because he did tell me he agreed with that when we talked about it.
Now, crazy enough, I never understood why they hyped up Andre Iguodala's performance against LeBron, because holding somebody to, I think LeBron still averaged 25 plus.
I'm pretty sure he averaged a triple-double.
Yeah. So my thing is like, okay, so you didn't let LeBron average his normal triple-double, but he still averaged a triple-double, so we should give you the Finals. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, no, that was crazy.
Right.
And now for the last ring that Steph won, he was not only far and away the best player on the team, but Klay wasn't playing as good as Klay had been playing. Klay was...
He was coming back to rehab, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. He had been injured that year.
Yeah.
Klay was playing... he wasn't, on the decline yet. That was the following year.
No. True. But to your point, Randy, that 4th championship that the Warriors won, to me, I thought that was the future of the Warriors, but they decided to move off of it so quick and easily because they played loyalty card. Because if you remember correctly, I was actually more Jordan Poole that was really getting off those playoffs and kind of was really, that's what really got his buzz going, and and it faded away quite quickly. But that's what really started his situation to him to get to it. Bob Myers ended up giving him the extension.
Right, exactly.
Bob Myers was ready to retool. He was ready to move off of Draymond. He was ready to move off of Clay. He was going to keep Steph, but he was ready to move off that first 3 championship team. He was ready to move off of all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. They were clearly past their prime already. Even though Clay wasn't as bad as he was going to be the following year, he wasn't that Clay Thompson anymore.
No, not even close.
Not even close. And Steph brought them to a ring, beating the overpowered Celtics in the finals. So that was a clear example of Steph being the far and away best player, having not horrible help around him, but not a super team like the KD Warriors.
No. That was a stat card. That was, hey, make sure to keep that damn championship out of Ohio card.
Yeah, exactly. And then the following year, like Bones talked about, when Steph had to be the clear and away top dog with basically no help, when Clay was going 0 for 14, 0 for 17, like, yeah, disappeared before he ended up getting shipped off to Dallas. Steph kicking and screaming dragged that team into the playoffs. Now they didn't go any further than that, but that's not on Steph. Steph was at the time 34-year-old man dragging a team with no help into the playoffs. Like that's not an argument against Steph, that's an argument for Steph. The fact that he showed not only can he be great when he has help around him, he can be great when he doesn't have help around him. And now I don't know what Bones is talking about with me walking anything back, because I don't walk anything back. I have not, and I will not walk back that Steph is better around the rim than Kobe, because he is better around the rim than Kobe. Significant. The percentages are there. I gave the numbers last week. He is better around the rim than Kobe, and that's despite him having a height disadvantage to Kobe. So if we're talking about context, it should be more disproportionately in favor of Kobe because Kobe was taller. He was a bigger guy. Steph. One of the things that impresses me so much about Steph is the fact that he was so dominant despite being undersized in the NBA.
6'2" as a guard right now is way undersized.
Yeah, exactly. And skinny on top of it. He didn't have much girth to him at all. You know, Bones might be a little around that.
No, don't go that far. Don't go that far. Don't go that far.
All right.
Bones is still slim.
Yes, yeah, no. They call him Bones for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I mean, like, despite being so undersized, he was better around the rim than Kobe. And he is better from the mid range. And you want to talk about like the 50, 40, 90 conference finals with Kobe? Yeah, very impressive, but it was an anomaly. It didn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Steph put up 50, 40, 90 complete seasons. So why are we giving so much efficiency? Giving so much credit for a couple of 50, 40, 90 games for Kobe when Steph was putting up seasons like that?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because you compare seasons to conference finals. I get it.
Yeah, with a bigger sample size.
You are. My only pushback, and I'm not disagreeing with anything. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Sure, of course. I'm sure you don't have any dog in this fight. You say while wearing.
Yeah, I know. No dog. I'm just saying, which would you prefer? That shooting performance over a season or in the conference finals?
I mean, I would prefer it in the conference finals, of course, but I don't think that proves you're the better player, because what that means is that you are able to do that in spurts.
You're right, and I'm just throwing that out there just for, like I said, for devil's advocate.
Yes.
Again, when we had the conversation last week, I said your points were very valid. I had no issue with them. At the end of the day, I agree with your part where you say, there are fans that really look at the emotions that goes into it. But I gotta admit, man, with sometimes, I just think there are certain things in sports where you like, throw the numbers out. I don't care. Let's just put our eyes on this situation and we know what the hell is about to happen. And Kobe fits that metric to me, where you throw out the stats. and you say he's just a bad motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I agree with you on. That comes down to the emotional factor that comes with it. But you know, again, to each his own.
Yeah.
I
And
just,
I'm not to make clear, I'm not anti-context. I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not at all. I think that it is important ultimately to look at stats and contextualize them. Like, you know, it's really easy. For instance, it's really easy to have a high field goal percentage if all of your shots are around the rim and you're not taking a shot at like further than 5 feet away from the rim. So I'm like, if you make an argument like, oh, well, you know, Shaq was a better scorer than Steph because he has honestly, they probably have about the same field goal percentage, which is how crazy Steph is. But if he had a higher one, that wouldn't tell you the whole story because of the ease of him getting to the basket. Yeah. That being said, yeah. So you're right. I totally agree. Stats can't show you everything, but very often, and I think Kobe fans are uniquely guilty of this, they pretend they're not there a lot of the time. A lot of the time, Kobe fans actively ignore them. And that's going too far because I've heard so many people, and like, look, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan in the world. But especially old heads love to say that Kobe's like the second best player ever, right behind Michael Jordan, and LeBron's like, I don't know, in the bottom 20s because they personally don't like him.
Bottom 20s is wild.
I have heard a lot, not a minuscule amount of people say that. I have heard a lot because, and their arguments will be like, you know, he doesn't hold it against the grind, or, you know, he doesn't have that dog in him. These meaningless catchphrases where it's like, okay, look at both of their stats against each other, all of them, basic, advanced, within context, clutch stats even. LeBron beats him in literally everything except free throw shooting.
Yeah, and that's fair. And, you know, but look, I just, you know, in this situation, obviously the three of us are you know, we know each other pretty well. So I just love the banter that is just hilarious. And I'm going to do all I can to take the gasoline and keep throwing fire on them motherfuckers. So because but I'll be honest. I love having debates where people are just going to be real with each other, have the conversation, but not disrespect each other, because you can learn something from that other person that you might not have known. And I'm not saying it's going to change your thought process, but it should at least, if you're human enough and willing enough to accept what they're saying, it should at least change your thought process, because as we transition, you know, I was having some conversation with some folks about the WNBA CBA situation. You know, they wore the t-shirts. Hey, us what you owe us. And I think it's a very, very, very real conversation. And to be honest, you know, I'll probably end up talking about this again tomorrow, because I know me and Randy got some other topics to talk about. So I personally won't be able to get more in depth with the conversation. But we're going to have it right now. And man, just, you know, talk with the people, man. Talk real with these people. Where you at on this whole, you know, stance on the WNBA players, on where they're at and what they're asking for, which I don't think is egregious. But if you really do your research and look at the numbers of the revenue share that they got, that's egregious as fuck. But I'll let you have it, man. Go ahead. Take where you at in this whole WNBA CBA conversation?
So before I start, do you remember exactly what it was that they were asking for? I don't remember the exact what they were asking for in relation to what they were getting exactly.
Well, I know they wanted more of the revenue share. How much it is, I'm not sure. I keep hearing things that they want what NBA players want, which is 50%, which I don't necessarily agree with. But I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with it. me personally, if I mean, I've been a fan of the WNBA product since its begin. To go from 9%, what you're doing now, that's egregious as hell. For me, the fact that they're not even in the 30s is egregious as fuck.
Okay.
Personally, you should be upwards to 40-ish, lower mid to 40s. If you're asking me, I can't go 50-50 yet.
Okay. So what I'll say is there are a couple different things going on here. So
Yeah, I think so too.
the WNBA is kind of just now starting to make more money than they have probably ever. Now getting much more attention than they have ever gotten. There's always been the argument that, you know, why don't WNBA players get paid the same amount as NBA players? Like it's all, you know, sexism, it's all discrimination, and it's complicated because
I think it is too.
Because on the one hand, just business sense would tell you if you're generating less money, you are worth less money. Like that logically, if a business is going to stay afloat, if you are, you can't make the same kind of money that LeBron and Steph and KD are because you're not selling as many tickets as them. You're not getting selling the same merch as them. You're not generating the same ratings as them. You're not getting the same ad revenue as them, right? Like there's so much that goes into how much
the money is made. Yeah,
exactly. And what you're able to do with it. And so there is just no way that a WNBA player can make the same amount as an NBA player because they don't generate as much money. Now, if you want to say, like, because there are a lot of guys, especially that are like happy about it, that are like they want the women not to get more money, and I'm not about that. That's not where I'm coming from at all.
No.
Yeah, I would, you know, get your bag, get as much bag as you can, right? But
yeah,
and if you want to say like, well, as a result of the, I don't know, social dynamics in society that value women's sports less than men's sports, that's what leads to the discrepancy in revenue. Sure, but that's not like the money is the money. Like you can only do what you have with the money that's there. Yeah. Is it also true that the WNBA will probably never become as successful as the NBA just because it's significantly harder for female athletes to be as impressive as male athletes, which leads to less entertainment value? You know, you're not gonna have Wembys and Zions in the WNBA much of the time. You don't see a lot of dunks. You know, Caitlin Clark was so unique because of her as a 3-point shooter, which wasn't that common before that. At least to the same extent as the NBA.
Well, not to cut you off,
sure.
I think the excitement for Caitlin Clark is you get Steph Curry-esque. I say esque because she's not in the same hemisphere, and I personally feel she's not the best in the WNBA. That's just my personal opinion.
No, she's not. I mean, apparently her shooting splits haven't even been that good recently. I've seen those numbers go around.
Yeah, but I'm not oblivious to the fan base that she's been able to generate for the last 4 years. So I can't ignore that. All right. But, you know, and I've talked about it on this show many times. I think like you said, I think it's a complicated situation with this CBA talking, especially when you start talking about what, you know, when it comes to the revenue, when it comes to how to split that pie. Because and like you said, is not, you know, you could take just the simple business mindset into this conversation, and it might apply to about 70% of the conversation, but the other 30% is just you need something else that's going to apply to that conversation about this whole CBA thing. And just for me, Randy, my initial emotions when I saw the display, and I'll be honest, and I'll talk about this again when I go in depth with it about tomorrow. the first thing I said is, I love the WNBA. I love what you ladies are doing. I've been a fan of yours, since I was a peewee. I'm now 38 years old. The WNBA has been around roughly 27, 28 years. So I've seen you, from the Cynthia Coopers, the Lisa Leslies, the Tina Thompsons, the, Rebecca Lobos, you can go back to OGs, the Maya Moores that was coming up in the way, now to your, Diana Taurasi, who just finally set it down, was a great, the Sue Birds, now to this generation. All right. So I've been a fan of you ladies for a long time. All right. Here's the conversation or the emotions that I first saw the display. It said, pay what you owe us. And I was like, it's cute, but respectfully take the shirts off because you're not generating the money. And that was my initial reaction. But now, really stepping back, looking at the whole picture in general, Randy, what the WNBA is doing right now, all right, they're going through literally a renaissance. Is a complete 180 of the direction that they were going in terms of popularity, attendance, ticket sales, jersey sales. Now TV deals about to kick in next year, about 200 something million a year. So, attribute that to whatever. I'll let the Caitlin Clarkian fans have that conversation. Obviously, we ain't got time for that tonight.
Sure, yeah.
But regardless of what sparks it, is happening. It's a renaissance. All right. And so for me, I think the ladies are actually smart as hell to talk about this CBA situation now.
Yes.
If we're talking business, it's smart on their business part to have this CBA talk now.
Yes. And also so similarly to the whole thing about like what I was just talking about with, the social dynamics that lead to women's sports getting less revenue. Simultaneously, I mean, Caitlin Clark herself is a perfect example of this. Like,
yes,
the social dynamics and the social biases that lead to leagues, advertisers, whatever, prioritizing a great white hope, for instance, has clearly benefited Caitlin Clark. Even though she's not the best player in the WNBA, she's still the most famous, and that's largely because of that.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, though, similarly to the way that money's distributed between leagues, between players, if she's generating the revenue, as if you're the one who is the business person dealing the revenue out, you don't necessarily care about why she's generating more money. She is generating more money.
Yeah, you just care that it happens.
Right. So I think that's kind of the same with the whole WNBA pay distribution thing as a whole, is like that's how they're looking at it. And it's you still have to pay for your own overhead, you still have to pay to advertise. So the cut can't be as big. It can't be at 50%. But should it be at 9%? No, probably not. I'm sure they could give more than that. And I'm sure they got away with doing 9% for so long because the WNBA was as down as it was, and players didn't have a platform. Now they do. Caitlin Clark especially has a big platform. I think the fact that she's so involved in this, that she's one of the ones that's involved, is actually to the players' benefit, because if her, Angel Reese, and a lot of the other players who are the more popular ones, Sophie Cunningham now, if they I don't know if their contracts allow it without them getting sued or whatever, but if they use whatever leverage they have to push back and say, like, we're not going to make you money until you give us money, that could be a real damaging effect on the WNBA, and they may have to come to the table. So that might be their move if their contracts allow it, and that's probably what they should do.
Here's where I think the ladies have a lot of leverage, and I hope they realize this. The fact, and again, I'll let the Clarkians have that conversation on why it's generated. It's getting generated. All right. your leverage is that this is the content. We are the content producers. We're the reason why these numbers are going up. I mean, to put it in the context, just like we had this conversation, I think literally about a week ago about the collusion situation with the NFL players and all that shit. If you want your demands met, you need to realize your power. And again, I think it's smart that the ladies are trying to have this conversation now, because you're white hot as your content is. As in, you see, Golden State Valkyries was a new franchise introduced this year. I believe there was another franchise that was introduced this year, but they've already announced Portland's coming back, Detroit, some other cities are coming back with WNBA teams. So there are people who are shilling out these. I think last time I saw, I heard it was $250 million just for the franchise price, or city appearance or whatever. I can't remember 100% what it is called. So I'm paraphrasing right now, so don't quote me, y'all, and try to kill me on this. But I think it was 250 million was the initial price to get one of these franchises. So one thing that you and I know, and most people who are business savvy, smarter know, the rich folks who are the owners and are part of that very elite status, they are that way because, number one, whether you want to believe it or not, if you think you're cheap, no. Have $1 billion in your bank account and see how cheap you really are. All right. All right. So let's have that conversation. I think that's part of it. So when you're seeing people who have that type of status and money are investing, and there's more franchises coming out, to me, as a smart business person, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, there's revenue getting made. There has to be, because how are you opening up new franchises? You're opening up new in new cities. That costs money. That shit ain't cheap. And rich folks are not in the business of losing money. They love making it. All right. So if we're really dumbing this down, yes, I understand as a whole the WNBA hasn't made a profit. And I think that's the real conversation about this, is revenue versus profit. All right. Because the profit is something that the owners need to be worried about. That's their problem.
Yes. That's the net after all of the overhead and everything else has been paid. And that's also an important part of it, right? Because if the revenue is increasing, but the share of the profit isn't, then it's harder to justify changing how much of a cut the players make.
And I understand that part of the business thing, but I'm just going to, all right, so let's really break it down to the level of just everyday common folk. Me and you.
Yep.
And everybody else listening, more than likely. All right. We got a job, right? So you don't care what that company is profiting.
Right.
You should, to an extent, because it does affect how the money gets divvied out. So you should care. But for the sake of conversation, you don't care what that company made. What you do care about is the share of the revenue. So what I'm saying is say for the year of 2025, that company brought in 80 million, but they're still trying to, decrease a deficit of 400 million. I'm the content creator. I'm only looking at what I contributed to this year, which was 80 million. And I want my hand out that's saying, well, that's 80 million made. And I'm the content. That's what these ladies are really fighting about. Really, is just they're looking at the revenue split.
Yeah, of course. That's totally understandable. I don't think they're wrong for doing that. It's a reasonable push and pull on both sides, because they're still, the WNBA is making more money than they ever have, largely because of the players. Like mainly because of the players. But that being said, how the money gets divvied up, like, it still ultimately has to be profitable on all ends. So this would be whether it makes sense for them to raise the percentage going to the players or not is kind of an accounting thing. We don't really have all of the books on it, but the players don't necessarily need to be concerned with that. And I still think that, just as a guess, 9% is probably too low, regardless.
Way too low.
Yes.
Right now. And that's what I said. When we start the conversation, I can't agree to 50-50 like the NBA players, is because, again, when you look at the numbers, their profit isn't going up quite yet. The revenue is yearly, that's fine, but the profit isn't going up as most people think. But I think the real conversation, besides just the profit versus revenue conversation, I think is very important to this piece, is I just think the all right, I'm just gonna say it. There's a lot of guys out here who are not fans of just women's sports in general, and they're the loudest, and I have an issue with that. Is because, one, you're not, consuming the content at all. You're really just jumping out there, and really this, like you said earlier, and I'm glad you said this, because it really triggered to what I was really feeling about the situation. It really separates. This isn't, because the conversation doesn't start beginning about sports. This is almost like some of these old motherfuckers are really thinking like this is still 1920s and all these women should be pregnant barefooted in the kitchen. If we're really having this real conversation, that's what's really, for me, is irritating, is when some of the loudest are really, you don't consume the content. You know nothing about it. Caitlin Clark, that's fine. It's because you watch ESPN. I get that. Cool. But they know nothing about WNBA.
Yeah. No, that's and that's kind of, exactly. I totally agree. And I think that also it's tough because, for that reason, women's sports, it's difficult to develop a consistent demographic for a consistent demand, because men as a group, as a demographic, are the ones that are mainly consuming sports.
Yes.
But men also tend not to value women's sports as much because of our idea of women and what we want to see from women. Women, on the other hand, as a demographic, don't feel the same way of what women should be doing typically, although you'd be surprised. But they're also not the ones that are mainly consuming sports. So it's difficult for them to maintain a strong enough demographic to regularly accrue that kind of revenue. But also, if you're increasing revenue, the profit should eventually start to increase. And that is happening. And men are more than ever watching the WNBA.
They are.
A lot of it's because, for various reasons. And, some of them just like Caitlin Clark. And that is, an issue in and of itself. And before because I brought up multiple things with Caitlin Clark, and I just want to be very clear with what I am saying about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark is a very good player.
She is.
Her talents do warrant her having a high position in the WNBA.
It does.
It probably does not warrant her being the face of the WNBA. That being said,
not right now.
Not right now.
Sorry, Randy, but like, there's Juju. She's coming. There's some other ladies that's in college basketball that are nice, that are coming.
Right.
There might be a point in time where they're just going to keep trying to force her to be the face, and real basketball fans are going to look at it and be like, these some ballers right here, dog. Like,
well, yeah, and I mean, like, you can even say that now. Like, you have like women like I'm not a WNBA knower, but I know Asia Wilson, I know, is more accomplished than her, and she's still in the WNBA. So, like, from a talent perspective, she probably would be more fitting to be the face of it, but she's not, because Caitlin Clark is. Now, and to my point, part of the reason why she is the most marketable is because of her play style, which is fair. Part of it is because she can be the great white hope, which is not fair. It's very similar. I think a perfect example would be someone like Eminem. Eminem going into hip hop.
Mm,
He deserved to be among the top guys. He didn't necessarily deserve to be the top guy. Was he talented enough to have the position he had?
yes.
To some degree, yes. Would he have been the number one guy if he was black? No, probably not. So I think that the conversation is very similar in that it's not a complete you're only in this position because you were white, but you clearly do have the talent, but you still do benefit from that. You still do benefit from being able to be the great white hope. She does clearly use that to her advantage sometimes.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the fights and the
Yes.
ways that she acts.
Oh,
Where she kind of
she's a shit starter.
yeah, she starts shit and then she runs away when the black women start looking ratchet, looking crazy. I don't know how much of it she's aware that she's doing. The media does always have her back. I don't want this to become like a Caitlin Clark hit because we're talking about the bigger picture. But I just wanted to clarify what I actually think and what I am saying about Caitlin Clark and what I'm not saying.
No, I got you because I don't want anybody to perceive you like oh, you're already shot Caitlin Clark hater. No, and neither am I, and neither is most people that I know that actually talk WNBA with the actual basketball minded presence. So, hey, no worries. But I will say this, and you said something just a second ago that really just had me like, bro, this is why I love you, because. You know why? And people really need to understand why the NFL became king of sports entertainment. They became king of sports entertainment is because what? They got the women demographic. They got the ladies. All right. You know what they did? They started getting I think it was some of the models, I can't remember some of their names, started doing a fashion line. Get your team gear in the certain Alyssa Milano, that might have been her. I can't remember off the top of my head. Pretty little thing, but they had her put her name on top of the women's line for each team. So 32 teams. Here's a women line. You're a Jaguar. Your husband's a Jaguars fans. You go to the game. Here's your Jaguars gear. Here's your Giants gear to rock with when you're in the arm of Randy Weber at a Giants game. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what they did, they grabbed that demographic, sold it through and as you saw, year by year, and they've been attacking the women for like the last 15 years, and you just see the numbers go up year by year. You see why the revenue keeps going up, why everything is the profit is because the profit keeps going up the same way that the revenue does. Like there is no debt for the NFL. It's all profit. Mm-hmm. And each team is profitable. And each team is profitable and you don't have to win. Yeah. These owners are literally they're owning a walking ATM. All right. Can the WNBA get to that point? I hope they can. I believe they can.
Also, as much as people hate it, particularly men, as much as they hate it, Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce was also a big part of that. Big for the NFL. The NFL numbers went up. Yeah, it was already big, but it clearly went up. Bigger after that. Yeah, the women's demographic. So many more women, even that I know, were into football, at least to like a casual extent, because of that. Exactly, because you can't grow the sport until you grab the casuals to turn them into regular people who watch your content. Mm-hmm. Everybody literally is a casual until you are absolutely entrenched into that content, because it got you, had something that triggered emotionally, because believe it or not, that is the emotional factor of the sports. It triggers something emotionally that you can attach to it, and now you're hooked and you can't get off of it. That's how it works. So they grabbed that women's demographic, and you know why the WNBA, if we're really being real honest, why you haven't gotten those numbers yet, it's because you haven't found a way to appeal to the women's demographic, that they are the major consumer of your content. Because here's what happens when you get a women demographic to really hook into your content. This is what happens, Randy. All right.
So, my wife is more often to spend money on the product than I would. So a couple of years back, I had no intentions of even going to a playoff game, let alone just to go to an NFL game. And NFL games are not cheap. All right. All right. She just out of the blue buys the divisional game playoff tickets. So I was at the 13-second game. This is the game. She just out the blue bought them. Men are not prone to do that like that. Most men, because if I tell you the tally and like it was by the time we had airplane tickets, rental car, and actual game tickets, you're talking about uppers $3,000. So I'm not spending that. Trust me.
Yeah, no,
off whim. All right,
right. We don't tend to spend as much, which is why women tend to get targeted more by advertisers.
Thank you. You have not, WNBA, managed to change the profit because you haven't got your hooks into the right demographic. And that's not the players' fault. They can only do so much with their damn Instagrams and their Facebooks and their Twitters. They can only do so much.
Yep.
The profit part, you have to affect as owners and a company as WNBA. The revenue, which is what's being made off of people who are watching the content and then buying the jerseys, watching the TV, that's up to the players. They've been handling that. I think that's where the conversation is really at.
Yep.
So, all right. I'll get off my soapbox. Like I said, I'll tap into a little bit of that tomorrow because I think I owe the ladies an apology because I should have always stuck by your side. And for a moment, when I dropped that thing on Facebook, and then I started getting information and started doing more diving in information. So I went about it, the situation outside of myself. I normally am the type of person where if I'm going to talk about it, I got my ducks lined up and I just jumped out there. So yeah, we'll have a talk tomorrow, ladies. All right, we'll have that talk. But there's some other things that's going on. And I need to talk to you, bro, because as much as I love the ladies, I did my best never to go back to my ex. None of them. All right.
I know what this is a segue to.
I ain't with them for a reason. All right. I ain't with them for a reason. Can you explain to me, Randy, why would Portland? No, I'm not talking about Damian Lillard. No. Why would Portland call the ex back? Why?
Portland doesn't really have anything to lose. I think that's first of all. They're not in a position to do anything. So I do think that is a big part of it. I like the story. I like the fact that he's going back there, ironically, with the point guard that he replaced on the Bucks. So that's an interesting narrative point right there for them. See what Dan's talking about here. Okay, all right, we can get to that.
Yeah.
I think that it's weird because if Dame was going to be healthy next season on a vet payday, I would say that's a great move.
Yes.
Because now you have him and Drew, that with the pieces around it. Like, honestly, Dame leaving was probably the best thing that could have happened to Portland in the long term because they were able to actually put some pieces together there. They're not a good team yet.
No.
They're not even close. But they have some building blocks that they got as a result of trading Dame away.
Mm-hmm.
And now getting Dame back, it's essentially like they built around Dame without having to build around Dame in a sense. But they're going to get him back. They're not getting him back for next season because he's barely going to play. But the season after that,
yeah,
if he's anything, if he's still an NBA player, at that point, out at his age off of the injury.
He'll be 36 by that time.
Yeah, which I mean, we're seeing players play around that time. It's not out of the realm of, it's a more than 0% chance. It's not likely. Maybe they're just bringing him in as like a coach, or like, you know, not like a literal coach, but like a mentor.
Bro, that's still an expensive mentor.
It is.
Shit.
It is. I'm assuming it's because they expect him to play, but they better be because of that.
Look,
but I think that they could, if in 2 years, if they draft well in next year's draft, they have Drew at the 1 and Dame at the 2. If Dame is anything at that point still, and they have some okay pieces around him, maybe they're a play-in team. Maybe they make the 8th seed. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to it. It might just be a morale thing to get fans willing to buy tickets to see Trailblazers games. And that's probably more it than anything. But you could at least get some attention on the team and maybe get like a play-in 8th seed, potentially. The West is hard, though. So that might not even be enough for that. But
hey. All right, Portland Trailblazers is like their franchise is like. I'm just confused on what exactly what do you really want to do with yourselves? Are you trying to win? Or are you trying to win? I'm just curious.
yeah.
Because obviously, this move right now does nothing for their current position to win, especially not in the West. Like, come on, and this is the West we're talking about. Like, literally, how many teams deep can you go in the West right now that says, I'm not saying with a chance to win, but like it's going to be thick in the West. Like,
no, it's true. Yeah, they're definitely not going to contend. I don't think anybody's that delusional outside of maybe in Portland.
I'm just obviously for Dame, hey, get your money, get your bread. But for me, financially, it's like I literally just looked at Milwaukee giving this guy $23 million over the next few years to either play for somebody else or not play at all. We really got to do this on some real bargain shit. I'll show you some love because you know what we did for each other in the history, but. You ain't heard for cash. What you need my money for?
Yeah, no, 40. I just looked up the amount. 42 million is kind of crazy for a man who's not even playing for you next year. Like, that is egregious.
The money's guaranteed.
Yes. So,
Randy, we're talking about. And look, I get it. Right now, it's. The only good thing about Portland is the Nike outlet. Let's keep it a buck. Hey, the gear is fresh in Portland. Like you damn sure got the exclusive Nike stuff. So getting that stuff ain't the problem. It's when it has Trailblazer on it because it ain't gonna be worth a damn. Because the fact of the matter is they not doing nothing that resembles a franchise that wants to win. Dame waited too late to get out. And he didn't put the pressure on him and say, hey, build the team or I'm out. He should have put the pressure on him. And he just sat there riding. And now you just had 2 years in Milwaukee that was just meaningless as hell. I'm confused, especially with Dame, because he's always been, I want to win. What I want to do it in Portland. I'm not sure you really want to win.
This isn't a team you can win with,
no.
Obviously. And like I can't imagine that Dame isn't aware of that. I really think that the reason why Portland is doing this is because they want to give their fans a reason to give a shit. They want to give their fans a reason to watch, to buy merch, because they'll be happy that Dame's back, right? Like it's a very obviously emotional move, I think. I don't think they think that it means anything in terms of them winning. again, 2 years from now, could they maybe make a play-in run just off the backs of Damon Drew and maybe Scoot Henderson if he becomes anything?
Yeah.
Maybe Shaden if he becomes anything. It could that group maybe make a play-in move? Maybe, but like again, like you said, it's the West. So you have OKC, you have the T-Wolves, you have the Rockets, you have maybe the Lakers, maybe the Warriors, maybe the Mavericks, you have the Clippers, the Nugget. I should have said the Nuggets a lot earlier in that list.
I won't bet against you.
I'm trying to think. There are definitely more Western teams that are clear playoff or at least play-in teams.
All right, so for reference, obviously we know who won the finals. So OKC was the 1 seed, Houston Rockets was the 2 seed, Lakers was the 3 seed, Nuggets was the 4 seed, Clippers 5 seed, Timberwolves 6 seed, 7 seed was the Golden State Warriors, Memphis 8, Sacramento 9, Dallas 10, and then outside the play-in, Phoenix at 11, Portland 12, San Antonio 13, and New Orleans 14, Jazz 15.
Okay, so you have OKC, Wolves, Nuggets, Rockets, Spurs are on the come up, Mavericks might be on the come up, Lakers and Warriors still might be able to squeeze themselves in there. It's not a lot of room. Not a lot of room.
I haven't heard anything about that, Daniel, but I look. I was not a component of firing Mike Brown. Not Mike Brown. Mike Malone. I was not a fan of that. I don't know what happened. Have you heard anything of what happened in Denver? I haven't seen anything of why Mike Malone was just out 3 days before the playoffs. Wait,
did more information come out as to why? Is that what he's talking about?
No, he said there's reports. He says there's reports that the Nuggets could fire Bosh into his first season. I haven't heard that. I haven't seen anything, but who knows? I mean, the guy that got him the championship got fired. So
yeah, I don't know. They're sporadic decision making in the front office, but we can maybe we'll talk about it on one of the future shows after we get the chance to look at the information.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. He said,
yeah. But yeah, so yeah, to this point, right? Like the West is going to be absolutely loaded. You have multiple contenders with OKC, with the Rockets, with the Wolves, with the Nuggets. Clippers might be right under there. Spurs could make a big splash. Lakers and Warriors around that gonna force themselves in there just on star power. It's getting, and then like Memphis might still be over you. So like it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. The Mavericks are another one. I think the Mavericks are going to be, I don't know necessarily contenders depending on the health of everybody, but like they're going to be up there. Like that's not a lot of room. So I don't really know why you do this other than you're doing it to sell tickets and have a happy narrative to get the media's attention for a bit since you have nothing else going on. I think that's really the reason why.
We've always been cool. Dame always loved us. We always loved Dame. We didn't want him to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like it's a heartfelt story, and Trailblazers fans might buy jerseys for it and buy tickets to see him before he retires.
Hey, whatever makes the revenue.
Yeah. And also might just genuinely be like, this guy did a lot for us. Everyone told him to leave and he didn't.
True.
Let's do something nice for him after the Bucks waived him unceremoniously. It genuinely might be a personal decision, which is rare in sports.
Yeah, no, you're right. It might just be off of just, like you said, personal, and none of this is business sense. But I think this move is kind of personal, and hear me out on this one. the fact that CP3 go back, he, you know, is back in LA. Obviously, he wanted to be around his family. He loves his family. So I think it was going to be LA or bust. However, the fact that he didn't choose Lakers, to me, I think is the personal question that I think is really telling, if you ask me. Maybe I'm digging too deep into it. What do you think?
It was the Clippers were the team that he probably the most, maybe second most successful with. Because I know that he got to the finals with the Suns. So
shut up, Bobby. He said they 2-P. No, the main point was, Bobby, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Randy. He was saying if the Trailblazers are at positionally in the West, ain't no way they,
right.
Yeah.
I don't agree that it's only that is what I was saying. I don't agree that there's only two potential contenders. I would say four contenders and then a bunch of potential wild cards there. Not a lot of room for the Trailblazers in that group. But to the point, okay, Chris Paul going back to the Clippers, maybe similarly, like he knows it's his last season. So he wants to retire with a team that he was successful with, that he was for a period of his prime. I don't think that he thinks he's going to win anything, although Chris Paul, Kawhi, Harden, Zoo, Brook Lopez.
Looks kind of nice.
Yeah, it does look kind of nice. It's old.
Old as shit. And it comes with a lot of experience, which we see, it can overcome some things. All right. But we also know, like you said, we're talking Kawhi, we're talking Harden, and we're also talking about CP3. Older, and some of these guys' bodies just ain't always popping like they always used to.
Brook Lopez is pretty old too.
He is too. Look, these ain't no spring chickens around here. Right? So now with that, with the the wisdom that does come with the squad, the durability and the athleticism isn't not going to be at a certain quality as certain other teams. And look at the top of the standings. You look at a OKC, you look at a Houston. They're not built even before KD went there, they were not built with a lot of veteran presence. They were some young Thundercats. Right? So that's for me, I think that's more the name of the game. Look at even at OKC, those are a lot of young cats on that squad.
Yes.
Even Shea is the veteran, and he's what, 25, 26?
Yeah, he's young.
And he's the veteran.
Yes. No, exactly. So the Clippers, it's not impossible that they make a move with that group. It is a lot of talent. Like it wouldn't be a long-term move. It would be a short-term push. Yeah. But there is a lot of talent on there, a lot of really good defensive players, a lot of really good offensive players. If Kawhi can stay healthy, which, I mean, there's no point in even trying to put that in the ether because it's not going to happen.
It ain't going to happen.
It ain't going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. It's been 2019. I don't think he's done even close to a full season since. But and then, you always have playoff Harden. Like, it's the team, it's not a 0% chance that the team does something. And if you're going to a team that you have a personal attachment to and you want to try to push for your last year, Clippers aren't a horrible choice.
No.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of different teams, so it's not a horrible choice among the teams he's been to try to do something with, if that's his reason for it. And yeah, also the whole LA thing. Now, why he passed on the Lakers, that's a good question. As a Lakers fan, I'm curious as to what you think of that. Why do you think he passed on the Lakers?
That's why I was getting at. I think he knows something that we don't. obviously we know about the friendship he has with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Why? And I'm looking at the Lakers roster. I'm like, it wouldn't be a bad idea for if you guys are going to do the Banana Boat Brothers thing, this will be the year to do it. Because, like you said, at this point, it serves two purposes: to stay in LA, which he wanted because obviously he wants to be near his family, and they stayed in LA. They didn't leave when he was doing all those other teams. They stayed in LA, so that serves that purpose. And then two, if Bron's your homie, and looking at the roster, I think having CP3, a veteran point guard of his, maybe his body may not produce the same thing, but the IQ is still there of veteran presence.
Yeah.
That would tremendously help the Lakers. I mean, I'm just saying, like, we need a point guard that would, of his caliber.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you that I think that it might be because he knows something. I mean, we've heard like bits and pieces of like LeBron's unhappy. LeBron and Luka are having some sort of issues. They don't like him, and Reeves don't like playing with Luka. I've heard some reports on that. I don't know how trustworthy it is. Reeves is also potentially going somewhere else. So there are question marks around the Lakers right now. And that might be the reason why. Maybe he does know more, especially being LeBron's friend. Maybe he does know something.
He has to know something. He has to know something about, because, I mean, obviously, I think this is probably maybe, I hear you, Bobby. I think that what I'm saying is if you let CP3 be the point guard, I think you might get a better version of Luka. I actually think you might get a better version. Bron has shown the ability sometimes that he can play off ball. What I'm saying is, and I understand what the Lakers are doing. They're setting up their next 10 years. All right. Star-wise. All right. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. I understand. And LeBron understands. He has to understand that was part of the business the moment that was done. And maybe he's like, damn, I am getting older. I am, sooner to the end than I am the beginning. Maybe this is probably the first time I'm not the priority. I'm just looking at this psychology.
Yeah. Sure. Like, if anyone doesn't like not being the priority, it'd be LeBron.
I'm just looking at this psychology way. So nothing of this is proven. I'm not trying to be a crazy guy. I'm just, because I love psychology. All right. And I think sports psychology is a very underrated factor into all sports.
Yes.
In every factor. I think a lot of sports psychology goes into everything that happens in sports, and a lot of people don't pay attention to it, and it's really right in front of us in many ways, and it has an effect on psyche of a human being. And I'm looking at this situation, and I'm like, if I'm LeBron, I've been a priority for 22 years, and I'm no longer the priority since that trade deadline, since that trade happened. Damn.
Which is like, you don't think that LeBron was probably in on that trade? You really think, considering how much he bitched that front office, like, you don't, it's hard to believe that he didn't expect it or wasn't in some way a part of the decision-making process.
All right, Randy. So,
I mean, if you get the phone call from Nico saying, like, we'll give you Luka, you may not double check before saying yes, right? Maybe it wasn't.
Okay, and I'm also trying to, all right, so I'm going to widen the lens on my brain and where I'm thinking on this, all right? I don't think he was in on this process, and here's why. They just sold for $10.1 billion. And I think the move that was made to trade Luka was in conversation of the new owner, and they didn't give a damn on what LeBron thought.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Again, this is just me psychologically looking at this situation. I don't know nothing because I'm not in the loop. I'm just looking at this as a fan because I'm a Lakers fan, and I'm looking at this because we can say the GM and have the jokes, but why would you not want his input on any moves that happen? And I believe that he has involved his input. But I think that is, to be fair, why would you not want the input of your players? Kobe's gone on record, literally recorded it, saying, I've gone to the general manager and say, hey, what's up? Are we trying to win or are we not? If we are, this dude, that motherfucker gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
He's on record, literally on camera, saying, I've put my input on certain moves of the franchise, because if you're saying that I'm important and you value me as an individual and this is supposed to be a partnership, then hear my input, especially when it comes to the basketball part.
Yes.
So why would you not want LeBron's input? So
Yes.
we can have the GM jokes. I've said them too, but why would you not include his input? This one was not him. And that factor is why I'm looking at it and say that new ownership group said, hey man, yeah, LeBron's good and all, but he's almost on the way out. This European guy can help me get that international money, and he's in his mid-20s. Oh, we just gotta, watch his diet. Cool, send it.
Mm-hmm.
I just paid you $10.1 billion. You're gonna do whatever the hell I said, and I don't give a damn who got a problem with it, especially LeBron.
True. Yeah. No, I mean, I could see that, especially considering the whole like ball dominant aspect. Like I think the fact that AD wasn't a ball dominant player was a big reason why LeBron thought it made sense to bring AD in, because they really did complement each other well.
Yeah.
This duo does not naturally complement each other as easily. You'd think that maybe if LeBron was looking at people, he wouldn't want someone who was going to play a similar role to himself, especially considering how much, he likes the attention. So
so when I saw this move, I said it was either LA or LA. Chris Paul, I can't remember what interview I saw him with. I think it was with Kay Adams. I can't remember. I might have the young lady wrong, and I apologize. But he was like, they asked, no, it was Jamel Hill. My fault, Jamel. She had the interview with him, and she asked him, how much longer you got? And he's like, at least I got one more. I want to be close to my family, preferably. So it was in the two spots. But the fact that he clipped the Lakers, I just think he knows something that we just don't. And hey, depending on if something happens or goes down, that West might shake up and even more crazier.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. Yeah, I think the Lakers' potential drama is fascinating. I'm sure maybe you find it a little less fascinating because it's probably weighing on your heart and your mind very heavily, probably keeping you awake at night. I understand.
I will say this. The fact that the guy that bought, and I need to point this out, majority of stakes. He bought majority of stakes at $10.1 billion. He didn't. He's not the whole thing. They sold a big chunk of that joint, all right, but they didn't sell all of it, and that was $10.1 billion. That's great. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, so he comes majority owner, but he owns the Dodgers. He's the one that bought the Dodgers a few years back. And just to see the way that he's aggressive in making sure that he brings the talent, brought in the Mookie Betts, wasn't scared to be creative to bring in Shohei Ohtani. They brought in some other pitcher, a Japanese pitcher. I forget his name. Apologize again. Brought in talent everywhere and found creative ways in baseball to deferred payments. All right. Now, I'm not sure how that plays in the NBA. Not sure. But if you look at Mookie Betts' contract with the Dodgers, he got a lot of deferred money. You look at Shohei Ohtani's contract, a lot of deferred money. So he's found unique ways to bring in the talent, but not necessarily break the soft cap of the Major League Baseball. So business wise, the man is a almost affinity stone collector, but somehow doesn't pay for it that way. So that gives me the comfort knowing that he's willing to do any and everything to make sure that he makes the Lakers back to what I know is, and that's a perennial championship contender. Because that's exactly what he just did with the Dodgers. Hate him and love him for that. The Dodgers are in contention to win the World Series literally every year now since he took that team. So if he's going to come with that same aggressiveness for the Lakers, hey,
you sleeping like a baby then.
I'm comfortable like a mug right now. I'm good. I'm not tripping about nothing. So all this little drama, I'm just kind of looking, just kind of trying to wait for the fallout and who's dropping the information and how true it is. That's the only thing I'm really waiting on right now.
I wish my team was owned by a smart person. That would be nice. I wish I knew what that felt like.
That was wild. Nah, man. But hey, man.
You want to? One thing. I'm trying to remember the last thing. Oh, the Von Miller move. Do you want to talk about that a little bit before we get out of here?
I mean, I guess it really. How do you really feel about it? I'll be honest about it in a situation in a moment, but I'll let you have at it first.
I think it's really interesting that the Commanders are doing the opposite of what all the other teams with rookie quarterbacks are doing. Like all of the other teams that have rookie quarterbacks on their rookie contract quarterbacks, Bears, Vikings, Broncos, they're being aggressive in the way that they're building around it. They're spending a bunch of money on top end talent in their prime to get around them to make that push because their quarterback is cheap. They can afford it on their cap. The Commanders seem to really like veteran deals, and that's why their team is so old. Von Miller, yet another one. I mean, I said when we did the power rankings and did the predictions, I think that the Commanders are kind of going to be similar to the Bengals from last year, where it's like a bunch of shootouts. Daniels and Scary Terry trying to keep up with the lackings on his defensive side. Teams kind of having figured him out. I went through the whole thing. The biggest reason was because the Commanders had no pass rush and they didn't do anything in the draft or free agency up until that point to fix it. Now they've traded for Von Miller. I don't think this really changes that. I mean, he's still okay. Like, I think he would have had like 6 sacks last season. He wasn't bad, but I think it's a weird strategy, especially when you have the best of all of the rookie contract quarterbacks, to not be more aggressive. I mean, like one of the other moves, Debo, right? Like, who's also like close to on his way out. They only gave Von Miller, I think, like $6 million on a 1-year deal, which is, that's good value for Von Miller. But at the same time, it's like you have the cap space to bring in top players to put around him. Why? I'm curious as to the strategy. Like, why are they going after so many like veteran minimums, cheap veteran deals?
The only thing I can really positively think about move like this is if Von Miller somehow just gives you enough, and honestly, if he's available,
Yep.
and he's 36. All right. You know what I'm saying? Look, Calais Campbell's still going, but shout out to him. But Calais Campbell is actually beating the odds of actually being available.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I missed all of 2020. All right. Played for 2 teams in 21. Obviously played for Denver and the Rams, made the Super Bowl, had a fantastic season. and made some clutch moments down the stretch.
Mhm.
Within 11 games, 12 games, 13 games, you know, they start coming down. He's starting to get beat up a little bit. You know, obviously there's some you know, lingering injuries that just kind of keep him out of action sometimes. And then, you know, you're playing 17 games now, so that right there is a minimum of 4 games missed. And he's supposed to, you know, help with the pass rush, which you're lacking at. I mean, it's not like we're getting that same Von Miller, you know. If we were getting 11 and a half, 18, 14, 13, 14 and a half Von Miller, cool. Hey, man, this guy's getting, you know, just the cautionary, you know, 8 and 4 and 5. Like, you can get a second rounder to do that shit for you and nowhere close to the price tag.
Yeah, no, it is weird. Like, of all of the teams that are in the position to push for win now, I mean, they just made the NFC Championship game with a pretty weak roster.
Yeah.
This would be the time to spend the money to to assemble a team that could push for a championship while you still have Daniels on the cheap. The fact that they're not, and they're still going after all these like twiddly little veteran deals with people that are way past their prime, it's really mind-boggling decision making, like really puzzling decision making when all the other teams with the quarterbacks on rookie contracts are doing the right thing and assembling great teams around the Texans, Bears, Vikings, Broncos. Like, they all look really good now, and then you have this.
It's because you look, in his prime, Von Miller was a problem. All
Yeah,
right?
for sure. No hate on Von Miller of the past.
Exactly. This is not. What I'm saying is a guy of his stature in the last 2 years has averaged 3 sacks in a season. I don't equate that with Von Miller, and that's where I'm at.
Mhm.
And the only reason why he's only averaging 3 sacks for the last 2 seasons because he had all 6 of them last year and had none the year before.
Mhm.
Like when you hear names, you're expecting a certain output. You're expecting a certain performance. There's a certain level of expectations consciously as just human beings. That's what we do. All right. When you hear Barry Sanders, I'm expecting a fucking certain level of Barry Sanders performance.
Yeah.
And when I don't see it, I'm like, yo, what the fuck going on?
Right. And if you bring him onto the team at 36, you probably won't see it.
You won't
Like, you can't rely just on the name at that point.
It has to be more than just a name. All right. And I'll give Bobby Wagner his credit. He's getting older, but he's still a tackling machine for them boys.
Yeah, no, he did play well. But then you have other guys like Marshawn Lattimore, who is really just a name still at this point.
Traded for him, and did he even suit up for him last year?
He did, and he got toasted by Mike Evans in the playoffs, even though the Commanders won. Wasn't because of him. And you know, Zach Ertz is another just name. Like, they have people who were once good players.
Interesting strategy. I mean, look, they might know more than me. Obviously, they do. I would never claim to know more than these NFL people because they made it to the NFC Championship game during the NFL. I'm just saying it is an interesting strategy. But like I said, I think the only positive thing that I can really see happening with them is obviously you make the NFC Championship game. That is something that you should build on for sure. But kind of similar to that Aaron Rodgers conversation we had, and when you saw Mike Tomlin win with those very bet savvy people, that might be the only thing that happens because Ben was young around a lot of older guys. And so it might be this, I guess, similar situation right here. I don't know if it yields the same result. I don't think it does, but I mean, not like you're far. I mean, but the only problem is, and you know, if you guys want to go back to the Power Rankings show we had a couple of weeks back, it's premature, but I think Randy had a good placement on him for this reason is because now it comes with expectations. Now it comes with, you know, pressure. And yes, did Jaden Daniels perform well in pressure-packed moments last year? Yeah. but you only had a certain amount of pressure-packed moments. So now that you go into this year, and your fan base is going goo goo gaga, oh man, NFC Championship game, we was right there. Now here comes all the pressure. Every week is now a pressure-packed game, pressure-packed moment. Not just those certain moments when you was on Monday night for the first time against the Bengals, or when you were playing, in those playoff games. You had just a handful. Now with the pressure, because you made the NFC Championship game, oh yeah, we looking for y'all to take that step forward, especially you, because you got to fight the sophomore slump talk too.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, teams now have seen your offense. They have film of you in this offense. I think that's a big thing. Also, I mean, look out how many of those games were 1-score games.
Mm-hmm.
He made the right play to close them, but you change like 1 or 2 plays for a lot of those games, the record looks drastically different. So it's gonna be tougher for them, and I don't really think they did a lot to get him the help he needs to push all the way forward. Some cool moves here and there, but this roster still doesn't look like a great roster. It looks like a very good quarterback with one really good weapon. And I like Bobby Wagner. He's good too. I don't know how much I would rely on him to be the defense of my team at this point, but he still was probably their best defensive player. Austin Eckler, another one who's like, he's good, but he's old, right? Like it's all so much of the team is past their prime. I don't think they have done what's necessary to push this team to the next level. And so many things are now working against him that weren't last year.
All right. So we do got to get off, but I just got we'll get this in. You said something interesting. You said film on him. And I think that's absolutely great, because obviously start knowing the tendencies on Jaden Daniels, his throwing motion, if he's tipping anything off. Yes, you get that film on him. Just to take it a step further, it's more film on Cliff Kingsbury and his offensive philosophy there's going to be more film on, because we saw this with Cliff before. Is the initial spark. Man, it looks good. It looks great. And then
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and it's not a knock on Cliff, and this is not what I'm here to do. I'm just saying it's just like, we also talk about, getting film on the quarterbacks. It's the actual philosophy and tendencies of these offensive coordinators is calling the offense too. And this is going to be Cliff's second year as the OC in Washington. Obviously, if you're a defensive coordinator and you've been in this league for a minute, and you're a head coach now, you've been around and you faced him before, it's like, that's more information I got on him.
Yep.
And like I said, there's been moments that Cliff, whether he was an OC or a head coach, it started off hot. It looked good, had some good moments, but eventually there comes a crash landing, and that guy's looking for a job again.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So I know that we have to close soon. I just wanted to say this before, maybe just a couple of words before, about Dustin Poirier retiring. I don't know if you saw the last fight, him and Max Holloway. What did you think about that fight? How he went out? Dustin Poirier finally fighting his last fight.
Hey, I pointed this out to somebody on the I.O.W. Sports Facebook. Has anybody looked at the list of names that Dustin Poirier has fought?
He's fought. I know he's fought a lot of people. He fought Khabib. He fought McGregor. He fought Gaethje.
He didn't duck nobody.
His win-loss record doesn't look great, but it's because he didn't duck anybody. It looks good. He had a very good career.
He fought the best.
He fought the best.
And like you said, you can look at the win-loss record and say what you want. Put context to it. You're not going more times than not. You're not going to beat the best when you're facing the best.
Yeah, no, he wanted every fight. He didn't duck anybody. That's true.
It was no smoke ducked. No smoke duck. If he felt that you was a big name and there was a fight that be had, he had it.
Yeah, just fought Holloway now in his last fight. Like, instead of choosing someone he knew he could beat to ride into the sunset with, he went for Max Holloway.
Thank you, Randy.
Fought Islam.
He could have walked out on the most coattailest W in UFC history if he really wanted to. He's like, nah, man, let's, because like especially if you, for me, that him and Max Holloway, when they went and was going at it, and Max, that to me, that's like bone chilling. That's forever remembered in my head, that memory. So hey, I'm with it. He gave us one more memory on the way out. Respect to him. Oh, and I don't know about these John Jones rumors, but if this is true, why you shouldn't have talking about you was retired then. Anyway, let's get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dustin Poirier, man. Hell of a career. Go ahead and give your words on DP, man.
DP, always very good fighter. Like you said, never ducked anybody, had a really good career. He was never quite at that top level of the division, but he was always around it. He was fought the best for a really long time. And I mean, yeah, I love the fact that he went out like a warrior with that last Max Holloway, like, slug it out now, who finishes. And he, unlike the last guy that Holloway knocked out, I think it was Gaethje, he stood. He managed to force it to decision, which was terrible for my parlay, but but it was great for his legacy.
Nah, no doubt. Hey, UFC is probably the only sport I won't bet on, because I'm like, man, that shit's. I mean, even though there are moments you know it for a fact, like, yo, this guy better knock this month out. But for the most part, like, besides that, like, to me, it's too risky. I'm like, somebody might get caught this night, get slept tomorrow. I'm like, nah, let me leave it alone. I'll stick with the other sports that I can somewhat mentally control.
I get it.
Hey, man, Randy, I appreciate you, man. Hey, like always, man. Hey, we're flexible around here. My man said can't do Taco Tuesday, but I do meatball sub Mondays. I said, let's get it. So here we are. Always appreciate what you do for the network, man. Hey, please and believe that. Hey, man, we're going to get up out of here. Y'all know what it is. We'll be back tomorrow. Randy won't because Taco Tuesday is now Meatball Monday today. But it is what it is. Appreciate you again, Randy. Hey, y'all know what it is. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, man. I'll let y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah. Solid Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mar.